not ready for it.
Yeah, certainly so. Lilgun, they're going to go back into the tree and protector, and I don't blame them for that. I think they were doing some really nice work there on the tree. And we go back to the Wraith King versus Timberlane, and that just did not work out. If you are going to run a POS 4 Pugner as well, as you saw from that last game, it's not going to be that easy against the tree and protector, so probably a nice pick here, and that should force the POS 5 Pugner to come out, at least for Chuan for Neon. See where Neon will go with their own draft. Nyx Assassin again. So that might be a POS 4 Nyx, but I'd say that's even worse against the Treant. So I think you are kind of forced to go the Jing POS 4 Pugner again.
Yeah, I think for Neon, maybe they have an idea to how to enable that Pugna. Maybe you just go for a stun lane, a lane that with a lot of magic damage, you could maybe get some value from Decrep. Or again, a stun lane to get some value from Nether Blast and look to just shove the lane in. Do you have the option for Sand King? I think you do still have the Sand King on hand. So you could take it your way instead. They go with the DP pickup instead. And that does raise the possibility now of perhaps DP support and core Pugna off. I do prefer the Pugna off lane. At least when you have to play that off lane, it's better as a core. Because you can at least greedily just Nether Blast and just get the farm up, start rolling there, shove in the tower, start getting an early push, along with the DP Exo. And that has been nerfed to 50% damage, but we've still seen it be pretty impactful in these early sieges. So it is still a really good pickup to have, very obnoxious with all the healing it has on hand. And I like that adjustment from Neon. Again, they could still run something like, say, Enryu offlane DP with a Pugna.
Yep.
At least in that lane, a value point in Decrep does amp up DP's damage. So there is some play there. It's not like the Timb where there's just no direct synergy and it's just hard. DP Pugna does have things they can do together.
Certainly. I mean, it is not a bad lane at all. Look, go for the tree and protector now on Lilgun. Okay, fair enough. It's not something I was expecting to pop out, but we saw a lot of it, I think, in Eastern Europe. I believe Ramses was playing it quite a bit, and that was... I mean, he was a great NP player, John, but I got to tell you, the gameplay wasn't very entertaining, to say the least. I think we... who else from SCA do we see playing Prophet?
Natsumi, Skem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Skem used to when he was in POS 1.
Yeah, when he was POS 1, right? He's not POS 1 anymore. You never know. It's what Boom feels like. I don't know if Jackie plays a POS 5, but...
That would be funny to see. Still, I love that little slip up you had. You had a bit of a Pavlovian response there, Mike. Nature's Prophet came out and you said tree and protector. It's like they look fairly similar. I mean, they are protectors of the trees, Mike. So it is in line with the lore. I will accept this.
Well, fun fact,
perfectly explained.
You actually did the exact same thing. I think it was yesterday. Unlike you, Jonathan, I didn't point it out. I let you go. I ignored it, Jonathan. Just so you know.
Yes. But tell me, what was it? Because sometimes it just, my brain, it's out there, Mike. Sometimes.
I don't know.
I would
you
like
said
to know.
something like Treant died, and it was actually Nature's Prophet, and I'm like, oh.
Yes.
I don't even think there was a Treant in the game, John. That's the worst part about
it. You got me there, Mike. It happens. I see green. I think trees, and I think tree. It's Pavlovian response, Mike. It is what it is. Still.
I don't know what Pavlovian response is, John, but I don't mind myself a Pavlova. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's that thing where you like how you train your pets sometimes. It's called when they react to something you do. It's a Pavlovian response. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. We should have asked UK because he's into the logical fallacies and philosophy right now, so he might have known. But yeah, it's something like that. Like when you hear the sound of a whip and your dog stays still, that's like a Pavlovian response. Yeah,
right?
So something like that.
Why would a dog stay still? What kind of dogs are you raising, John?
No, but that's the general description. You do something enough that the dog knows how to react when you do something.
I see.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not condoning anything like that, but that's the example that most people say. Just like dog whistling, and then your dog reacts to that whistle in a certain way, does a command. That's kind of Pavlovian. Maybe I'm wrong.
When I tell my wife I love her and she scowls at me, that's a Pavlovian response, is it, John?
You could say that. It's not your fault. It's been ingrained to the missus. It's not anything you've done. That's one way to cope here, Mike. Suck on that copium.
All right. Thank you, John. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Neon, final pickup. What do they need? Like an off-lane pick, it seems like maybe a mid here instead of the off-lane. You could run the off-lane DP. Off-lane DP against Prophet doesn't seem that great, though, to be fair. Assuming it's a POS 1 Prophet, which I think it's fair to say it probably is.
I don't know, like, the DP's still kind of fine in the lane, but I'm not sure how much value you get from DP Pugna in that case. I mean, you can still make it work. You can punish the Call of Nature and just clear out the treants there. So you can get some good farm going, not enable the NP to just clear out the waves every time. But you do want more pressure. You want a little bit more play here from Neon's end. They don't have the best catch. They don't have the best mobility. That's something the NP punishes really well. You know, you TP onto the map, just drop Sprout, and none of these heroes can really break out of that. And there is the answer there. The Storm will come true, so it's looking like, well, that should be the mid-Storm. Safe lane TA now for Asta. Still the off-lane DP, but the Storm does give you play. You know, it does give you good initiation, good mobility. Level 20 talent of Treant, or of Nature's Prophet, gosh darn, of NP will still be annoying for the Storm, but a 4-staff should fix that issue. So you should still have some ways of working around that for Neon. For Lilgun, it's a choice in what you want to do now mid, because you could still run DK versus Storm mid. They will go with a Quap instead. So again, Marvel on the off lane, DK 11 on that Quap mid. Matchup against the Storm Spirits, not too bad. You can stay away from the Overload and the Remnants. You can just spam your dagger away at Storm, get some good trades, and clear out the creep wave with Scream of Pain. A very varied build here for 11. So he can choose how he wants to play that lane, and I think overall it's a rather even draft. Like, you have these very solid win conditions on both sides. I think for the side of Neon, what we have to see is faster push. Like, you have Pugna, you have Death Prophet, you should be able to still siege. It's a bit slower with that caveat on DP getting nerfed, but it's still there. And you will want to do that, especially since you're playing against this NP. You don't want that NP to get too much space here, Mike. Once it does, it can be a little bit unmanageable here.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Storm to try and counter it, but I do agree. The MP can really become a problem. And quite frankly, John, looking at Lilgun's draft, this time around, I feel like I kind of erred towards the way of their draft. Like, you do have plenty of ways of catching the NP with the Nyx Assassin, with the Storm Spirit. I don't disagree with that, but you look at those lanes and they don't look too great for Neon. Like, looks at maybe a little bit rough, though I guess we'll see how it pans out. Game number 2, the final game of the night here between Lilgun and Neon Esports, set to get underway. Did you have a definitive draft that you preferred, John? Is there something you'd like to say before we go into the game?
I'm in agreement with you there, Mike. Lilgun just looks a lot stronger. My issue with Neon is just it's back to that same support duo of Pugna Nyx, which is why you're feeling like the lanes are weak, right? Like, Jing just didn't do too much in the laning phase. Chuan was getting some good intercepts on Kishka's Kotl, right? Like, getting some good spike carapaces off. And he was getting some good impales, but the laning phase just didn't feel like he was setting up for Asta to have a good time. So I am keen to see just how much more they can adjust here, because they picked those same supports again. So I think they're able to look back at the last game, realize, all right, maybe this way of playing these two supports didn't work out, or maybe they're just satisfied enough with more passive lanes, but they've got to be ready to compensate for that by the mid game to buy that space for the cores.
Fair enough. Well, Lilgun gonna group up down to the bot side. You are gonna have Neon around the same area. They might try to intercept the bounty rune.
Actually, to battle.
Lilgun, they're going to back off, so maybe a little bit preemptive with the back off there, as Neon look like they're about ready to move their way up. Back into the mid lane is where Lilgun go. Ace 12, going to see Chuan moving up to him, will walk away. Yeah, I think if they stuck around, they would have probably secured first blood onto Chuan. They won't quite get that now, and well, it is still going to be a bit of a contest over the bounties, as they are going to group up. Chuan, nice impale, going to allow him to take it. Meanwhile, top side, Asta and Jing going to go for a bit of a chase onto Marvel, but he should be okay. Looks like Chuan, even though he does take quite a substantial amount of damage, he is not going to drop. Be just fine to back off and start munching away on those tangos. Same goes for Marvel. He really just took no damage. He's perfectly fine. And while we're here, John, top lane, we'll start with the top lane, where Marvel will be with his Snapfire, of course, being played by Kishka. And you are going to have Asta and Jing against them. How do you feel this top lane ends up going?
First few levels don't feel great for Asta. He's not going to get the double meld here either, so it's not like he can completely harass out Marvel. Kishka's doing good work with a Scatter Blast, just slowing down Asta. Jing, it's a better position for the Pugna up top, right? You can be much more annoying. You can play around with the Decrep to stop the chase over onto Asta. Maybe kind of protect if the DK is trying to get some hits, or if the Snapfire is trying to play with the low Shredder if that comes out. But I think you can't really get too aggressive here on Neon. So it's definitely much better for Lilgun to look for those kills, to get the double stun down the line, and just pressure that TA. Until Refraction is up to like level 2, it's not going to be very comfy. And even if you do get that Refraction up, Little Shredder makes short work of it.
Of course, mid lane, Avatar mode going to be against 11. So far, pretty good start for Avatar mode. 11 actually the one falling quite low here in the Queen of Pain. I would have assumed the Quap should have had the advantage, but at least for now, Avatar, he seems to be having a very good time.
Yeah, it's not the worst lane for Storm. Like, even if you can't play with Remnants to harass, you can always try to right-click trade with Overload while trying to use the Remnants. And 11, he does opt for the Shadow Strike, so it does look like he wants to punish Avatar mode for stepping a bit too far forward. And I don't think he minds too much whenever Creep Wave shoved out. Of course, Avatar mode still has access to a small camp. We'll just be able to stack and clear that out down the line. You could do the same thing here on the Quap. Because of the timing of that position with Creep Wave, not going to have that build up. Early bottle's already up. Both sides should be fighting for that as well. And again, when it comes down to rune control, the supports of Lilgun just look a lot better for those early rotations here.
I can agree with that. And of course, bot lane, Enryu Chuan against Ace 12 and 423. Currently, 423 is having a very good time on the Nature's Prophet, and I suppose that was to be expected. Prophet doesn't really lose too many lanes. Chuan and Enryu, I mean, the Nyx DP, it's a fine lane, but unless you can land a nice impel, chances are you aren't getting 423, and he's doing a great job of just sitting back, allowing the trees to do all the work, and it doesn't seem like Chuan and Enryu can quite lock down this Prophet.
Yeah, they can't really stop that farm. You also have to worry about Ace 12 just running up at you. You don't really have a chance to cut off that tree line on the left side. They have done a good job of cutting most of it, but will eventually be back up, and Ace 12 still has angles to play with the right play. So it does end up being more passive. That does favor Lilgun. And then they could always look to play aggressive with his crouch here as well if they wanted to.
They're going to try and move in again. Ace 12 going to force Chuan to TP back home, and he's going to make it. The final right click from 423 does not make it in time to secure the kill, so Chuan does stick around, does still have 4 tangos, so it looks like he's going to be just fine to stick around that bot lane, but again, the pressure is not really being applied against the Prophet, so 423 is going to have a great start to this game number 2. To be fair, though, I think Asta's not really too far behind, and it is still going to be a TA you're going up against in terms of farm, so I guess Neon, in some sense, they're quite confident that Asta will be able to overtake the game later on anyway.
TA is a much clearer win condition here from the side of Neon. I just feel like there's so many ways to control that TA. Maybe not control, but make short work of Refraction. You know, the Fireball from the DK is going to be the big one. Do you find that first blood, though?
Yeah, where was it? Chuan ends up going down around the rune spot, it seems, as well, 11's going to take that one on the Queen of Pain. Sadly, we did not catch the kill, Jonathan, but Chuan does end up dropping on the Nyx. A very nice start for the Quap. I mean, it was a bit of a rough lane for the Queen of Pain up until this point, but now that you get that first blood going your way, suddenly the net worth disadvantage is not going to be too high.
Yeah, and there was that scuffle over the water runes. I think that's what really caused it. Chuan did manage to pick that up, denying the refill of 11. But it's like we said earlier on, Mike. The presence of these supports in those rotations aren't the greatest. After the Impale's out, you don't really trade all too well on the Nyx. Your durability is alright, not the best. And the side of Lilgun can use a bit of an overextension like that against you. So, not getting bottle refills on either side, not too bad because you get the kill for Lilgun. That does help kind of solidify their position here. Neon, off to a little bit of a slower start. They are still finding stable farm on Asta. It's not anything compared to what 43 is finding. Basically a free lane for the NP. That is a cause of concern, as the NP, he's not constrained just to laning farm. He can jungle early as well, and if you do manage to start taking those resources away from the side of Neon, it gets pretty awkward for that TA. You know, not many stacks being built up, a couple in that top jungle. If they spot it, NP can just join in with the teleportation and clear it out himself if he wants.
Top lane. Still very passive here. Kishka, he'll take the Courier Vasta. Marvel, not having a bad time in the DK either. You know, another very slow kind of start to this game. We had the very similar thing happen in game 1. Suppose you just want to get those initial levels up before you really start to move. I think 11 could probably start to rotate with this Arcane Rune up, but you may as well wait for the level 7 mark. Take out the Sea Tree before he does leave. Because the opportunities for a team fight aren't really there. Not quite yet. Like, you don't have the most aggressive heroes going on here in the early stages. The greatest setup for a rotation to come out from these mid laners.
Just playing that waiting game, waiting for the levels. I think support levels are pretty much what they really need. Henry does get trapped up.
Henry seems fine though. He'll Spirit Siphon up. Hard, like even against the DP, you've always got the siphons to rely back on, and again, unless we see a rotation from 11, chances are they're not going to be able to burst her down. Maybe 11 finds Asta here as Kishka. It's keeping vision on Asta. Cookie, going to be a little bit off the mark, but they do land the Shadow Strike. Problem is, Asta can always just TP away. And in the meantime, 423 ends up dropping. Avatar mode. A nice rotation of the Storm does cost 423 his life.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You see the rotation from the pop, you know she's somewhere else now. You can just show up in another lane. You have triple null up on Avatar mode, working into the power treads, and yeah, it's just that time. I'm kind of getting sick of saying this every time we see Storm, Mike, but yeah, you know, it's what can you do? This is the build now.
The easiest analysis of your life, Jonathan. Just null talismans. What does Storm need? Null Oh, look at that.
No, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's his neutral item forever now. That's it. Level 1 neutral, no problem. I'm keeping it forever. Top lane, Jing, probably gonna drop it. Kishka and Marvel gonna take care of it with the dragon form. Get a bit more damage off onto this tier 1 top tower. Hell, even the mid lane's been forced in by 11. Does actually commit the Sonic Wave, but doesn't end up getting the kill onto Avatar mode. And 11's doing a great job of just controlling the power runes, and even with the Sonic Wave committed, he has not given a power rune back the way of the Storm. He's not really allowing Avatar mode to get too aggressive on the Storm. And 11, he'll keep the pressure up in this mid lane.
With the DD, he can just solo siege all by himself. No one to rotate yet. Storm will be back up. So Avatar mode will try to handle that creep wave, but can't really look for that kill opportunity. Tower's already down to 337 HP. Another bit of a shove will get that done. And that's exactly what Lilgun needs to do. We talk about Neon having to get these early objectives. They are about to hit level 6 on Enryu. So they could try to play around that. And Jing has gone for a 203 build, so there's some presence from the Nether Blast to back off a little bit of a push. DP push, again, a little bit slower with this patch, Mike, but still impactful enough if you give it enough time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's slower, but not really that much slower. It still gets the job done, that's for sure.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Oh, 11 just taking the stacks being made here by Jing. Just kind of staring very unhappily. Sadly, can't do much about it. All he can do is dance and wait for Avatar mode to try and intercept, as Marvel is going to be targeted. He's got help right behind him. Cookie, it is going to stun 2 up, but they are leaving Marvel behind. He will try for a TP play out, but is not going to make it. I suppose without the Sonic Wave available and off cooldown for 11, he wasn't comfortable trying to force the fight.
Just a great opportunistic kill out from Neon. They do still drop their objective top, but they managed to take bot in that interim period. So you trade evenly. Next focus will be on mid. Neither side will want to give away their mid tier 1. Neon on the edge of losing theirs already. 168 now. Another power rune out for 11. Just as you mentioned, on point for the control. After mode not be able to get his bottle top up. Not going to be feeling great. At least has the clarity to kind of clear a couple of camps before he heads home. But the aggression is staved off here from Storm. If he doesn't fill back the full, he can't go onto the side lanes. He can't look for that kill. And for the side of Lilgun, the build-up is coming true from 423. He is still finding really good farm here, still keeping up with that TA. Witchblade next, a little bit of DOT damage to help deal with Asta. And for Asta's part, Dragonlance is already up. Next step is the Desolator, and considering how cramped the jungle is looking right now, could be a bit slower. He is getting priority though. So as long as he's uncontested, he should still get some decent timings here in the TA.
Yeah, still farming just fine. I guess anytime you've got a Nature's Prophet in the game, it tends to be one of those slower games, to say the least. Again, going back to those EEU games we were casting, Prophet is it's one of those heroes, John. It doesn't want to fight. It wants to hit creeps and push side lanes. That's all it wants. Top lane though, Marvel. He probably won't want to fight either right now. Chuan might leave him with no option. Is there. Marvel gonna cop the hit from the Vendetta. There's your Vortex. Oh, they kind of chained them incorrectly, but Marvel, yeah, he's fine. Miscommunication for sure there, John. It was either Impale or Vortex first, and they used it at the same time.
Yeah, and you know, they held off on that initial stun as well on the Nyx for a long time. Really good movement out from Marvel just to be confusing, making Chuan think twice about getting the stun off. All that space also led to the tier 1 being pushed down. So Lilgun now have the map control advantage. They can invade jungle a lot easier. They've got a really good forward ward on the top area to kind of eke out when the TA is farming there and can start to get the punishment in. Our NP already at the Witch's Blade, so into that Orchid next. Just looking for that early control. Enryu here though.
And Ryu in danger. They'll use the little shredder to take through the nether ward as they will jump in onto the DP. Life Drain's definitely going to help out. Enryu is still trying to sustain, but it's not going to be it. A Spirit Siphon plus the Life Drain. It's a lot of heal, but Lilgun forced to use the old Sonic Wave to make sure she doesn't get up.
And it landed onto both. Really good angle coming through from Lilgun. Kishka does clean up the back line. Just that DOT coming through from the kisses. They find 2 big kills. They punish Enryu for sticking a little bit too long down bot, stalling out his BKB timing just a tad bit. BKB on DP is the big one for the side of Neon to start to feel confident in their front line. Avatar mode is opting instead for the Kai Sanj, so wants more presence out. Smoke out from Neon though. Quick respawn here from Enryu. Exorcism is ready for this kind of fight.
Kishka will be started up on, and Chuan and Enryu going to be able to secure the kill along with Avatar as they will try to move into the mid lane. Enryu will pop that Exorcism up and force the glyph out. It seems like Lilgun, they're not probably going to be willing to fight this one out. Again, they don't have the spells that they need to fight. This big ulti is currently on cooldown. And so T1 mid tower just going to go the way of Neon for free. No real contest here from Lilgun.
I think they're happy enough. They only sacrifice support to get that done, and they do manage to force out the Exo just for the push, not leading into a fight. They find Chuan.
Cookie's just off the mark. He'll try to pick it up, but he can't get through the tree line. Get a little bit of a glimpse at what's going to happen when you get that level 20 talent on the Nature's Prophet. Still 10 levels away from that, but that's always fun to watch.
Oh yeah. I really love it. I love the way we found out about it from Natsumi as well. You know, you see it at leash, and then he just lets go, and it's like, yeah, that goes through BKB. That's pretty dumb. Smoke out from Lilgun though. Still wanting to force that pressure, knowing Exo's down. Bit of an opening here to force some aggression.
Who are they going to find? I mean, Jing, he's going to be the one to break the smoke. Marvel does miss out on the storm. They'll have to settle for the Pugna. Not quite the kill they wanted. Definitely something, but they wanted that storm so bad. Avatar, he's going to be just fine to survive another day. And Asta, while all this is happening, has overtaken a net worth. This is where things start to get a little bit concerning. Even with the MP pick, once the Deso's up on Asta, Roshan opens up. And suddenly, the damage really starts to ramp up on this TA.
It's the spike for the TA in that mid game. It's just Dragonlance, Deso, all you really need to have that presence. But look at Lilgun, just constantly forcing smokes. You know, they know they've got to move now. They know they've got to act. So they're still trying to find that angle. Still kind of blind on the top side, but we'll try to take a long route around and maybe with that blink up can catch Avatar Mode off guard.
Top lane. They do find Jing. It's just the Pugna. Not quite the kill they want. In fact, the turnaround is going to be there onto the Snapfire. Gishka might just drop. Overgrowth is there in time. Big Sonic Wave 11. They might have saved the day, and they do. Hell, even Jing's still alive. They finally take him out. My god.
Oh, I'll make sure you get
Oh yeah, that's the kind of rotation they needed. They finally pinned down the Storm, but is the Storm really the one you want to jump? Asta has the Desolator up, and we've talked about this before, Mike, but Storm only really needs a few nults and whatever else he wants, and he's kind of set to go. Roche is open now, though, for the side of Lilgun, so he'll preempt that TA movement out, taking that Aegis for themselves. Neon don't quite have the angle to go in. They are TPing up. There is an obs to watch this, so you are well aware from Lilgun as to when that rotation comes out.
There goes your next assassin, Chuan. Trying to get some wards down to counter the Roshan play, but that's not going to work out. Still, they are moving in. Neon still trying to find a way to fight this one out. Roshan, it's low, but it's not quite low enough. They'll zip in, Avatar mode, onto the Queen of Pain, trying to get that damage out in time, but 11 is going to be able to blink out. Suddenly, though, you might need a reset. On the side of Lilgun, they pop the Exorcism Neon, they want the fight. Kishka, they'll turn, 4-2-3's around, they've got the DP, so the Roshan is being snuck here by Neon, but they don't have the damage output yet. Marvel, he'll blink back in, but he's blinking into his death. Asta gets him down, now the Vortex forward, Avatar mode, he'll take down 2 as 4-2-3, he will be forced to TP out. But Roshan, it's still up, and Neon, they'll have first dibs. For Ace 12, surely you can't still Aegis. He won't make it.
Oh, he was close to Mike. 1 second off, like 0.5 seconds away from Overgrowth, I think, at that point. If he had it just a little bit earlier, could have tried for the steal play. Reminding me of some old highlight videos. Still a big win for Neon as he managed to turn that fight around. It looked like a good backing off from Lilgun, but they knew they had to force the issue. They jump back in on Marvel. Gets bursted down by the TA, does get the Dragon Tail Sun off with no follow-up. And we aren't at the point where the NP's just a very big hitter yet. Now, he has the Orchid up, he can do some work. Orchid was on cooldown, and just didn't manage to do anything with that sacrifice of Marble. So, Neon in a great spot now. Asta is a massive issue. Blink coming out soon, does have the gold for it. So you can't just jump in front and just burn everyone down. The good news is he doesn't have a BKB. So you can still manage this TA with Orchids, with the stuns you have on hand, but you have to see the TA first. So it becomes a bit of a priority target. Lilgun has mainly been finding Enryu and every now and again Avatar mode, but the TA has to come through as your priority target now, and Asa's just been very on point with just staying safe, staying in the jungle where Lilgun doesn't find him. We've got to find him somehow here, and they're gonna need some vision to get that done. There's just not enough wards to watch that bot area.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Neon, bottom T2 tower now going to be under siege. Asta, we'll get started.
Radiant structures are
Tier 2 going to be glyphed up, and it does seem like Lilgun are going to try and do the exact same thing up at top lane, but they might be a little bit slower. It should allow a defense to come out eventually for Neon if they want to hold this Tier 2 top tower, but they'll try to focus down the bot first. Chuan, he's going to TP in, but he does cancel immediately upon seeing Ace 12. They had the vision. So Lilgun, they are going to have the time to get the top Tier 2, but there are rotations coming. Neon, we'll see Kishka and 11. You want the corp first. They'll move in with the zip into the vortex, but where's the stun? Chuan, another great impale. They've got the Queen of Pain down. Marvel, he will soon follow. Kishka will actually get away in that tree line. They got away with the Tier 2 tower, but it was a direct trade anyway. So Neon with the rotations, it does pay off.
Again, they get another great angle coming through. Avatar mode just able to zip across, and again, that's the big difference between Lilgun and Neon right now. You don't have a very big wave jumping outside of this DK blink. Like Quap can blink in, you don't have the shard to at least have some form of breakup in that initial engagement. You know, a little bit of a silence at the least to prevent any sort of big spellcast. Of course, have some BKBs. BKBs also have to come through here for Lilgun. Very far away from that for Marvel, and he's been the sacrificial lamb in this game. You are inching towards it for 11, and you are very close to it on 4-2-3, but the DK BKB is the big one. Lilgun, though, never want to shy away from a fight, Mike. Another smoke despite that loss. Top tier 1 faults as well, but maybe knowing that EXO is down gives him another opportunity to take a fight here.
Radiant's top tower is under
Gonna try.
attack.
Hard to find a way to initiate, I think, here. Marvel is going to make the blink in. Chuan is still alive. Going to get the Spike Carapace off into the Impel. They are not committing quite yet. Mortimer's Kiss is now expended 11. That's a very aggressive blink in 11. Gets punished immediately. His Avatar would love a bit more. They won't spot at Ace 12, but the Overgrowth's going to come out. Buyback committed from the Quap. They want this team fight. They might at least find Avatar, but they have lost Kishka. It's 4-2-3. He's going to be forced to TP away. In Ryu, already using that BKB. Going to try and back himself out, but Marvel going to jump right back in onto the TA with the Dragon Tail, but you've got the Life Drain there from Jing. It's not enough yet. Sonic Wave going to be committed to get rid of that Aegis as Enryu. He'll go after Marvel. There's your Dragon Knight gone. The TA trapped up. They got the Orchid out. Decrepify. It's not going to help. He's still going to get bursted down. Great team fight now for Lilgun. The buyback does pay off from the Quap, and they can move into the mid-tier 2.
Just really good angles this time around. Great reset from 4-2-3. Backing off in the nick of time. Comes back in. Orchid back up. He managed to burn through that second life coming out from RT. You're seeing some issues in survivability here. Without that BKB, the TA just melts right through with a fireball coming out from our DK. Just so much DOT. The decrep is nice to prevent the damage, but you're decrepifying into the Orchid and the Witchblade. That damage over time from the Witchblade actually feels pretty good with the decrep on top, so have to watch yourself there. Side of Neon suddenly lose that lead. 1 to 2k still on their side, but not a massive lead any longer, as 4-2-3 has built up. Going for the Scotty next. So he's going for that big 4 tiny for the right clicks. A little bit of healing mitigation that's going to put a dent in Jing's adventures here with the life drain. And that could constitute even playing on the edge here for Neon with the life drain. Once that heal's gone, it just feels like a lot of utilities taken away.
Nice scan. Neon gonna get caught in that Radiant jungle. Trying to find a pick off in that mid lane, but they're not gonna be so lucky. Chuan, oh, he's found Marvel. Marvel seems to know something is wrong, does back off at the exact right moment, and is gonna make it out. Meanwhile, Kishka, going for a bit of split pushing at the top lane, has done a pretty darn good job of it. Just needs to get a TP out of there, and should be able to do so just fine. Neon, they'll focus on taking back their outpost for now, but it does really seem like they want a big team fight to break out. Problem is, Lilgun are not giving them that opening. Lilgun more than happy to keep the farm going on 4-2-3, and well, the Prophet, he is slowly becoming a pretty huge issue. Top of the net worth board once again. Skadi to come out very, very soon. Hell, he might even go for the Satanic first. And eventually, as the TA, you are going to have some issues dealing with this.
Yeah, it just becomes almost TA versus world. I think you start to think about the itemizations from your other cores. You'd really want Avatar mode to have something like the Ags up. The AoE Vortex will tie in your control, give that opening for the TA to just get these side blades off, try to find that damage output. Smoke out from Neon, and try to pin down Lilgun while they're not willing to fight. And Lilgun is pretty spread out here.
They are. Neon so desperate for the fight. Oh, that's a regen rune Avatar mode. He's going to be very happy with that as Marvel has been caught. Not a bad kill onto the Dragon Knight.
Your death was a secret.
You got the regen going, so Avatar, he can do some funny stuff now in the storm. The Lilgun, again, they're just not interested in the fight right now. They're just hanging back, pushing side lanes, doing Nature's Prophet things. Neon, they're going to force it into the mid-tier 2 tower, though. They hate split push. So do I, quite frankly, John. There goes your tier 2 tower. And did you say DP ulti got nerfed in objectives, John? Is that what I heard earlier?
50%? 50%. That's what the patch note said.
Let's have a look at this, John. Once this creep wave's gone, let's have a look. Look at that tower, John. Yeah, it looks like it got nerfed. Looks like it. Oh. I saw a tier 1 tower earlier, John. Exorcism, the ghost hit it once, and it removed over half its HP.
Dire's
What
bottom
can you do?
tower
I mean,
is
it's still
under attack.
physical damage, right? And you've got the Deso TA, so I guess the minus armor is a big factor in just speeding that up, so it doesn't feel like 50% production. I suppose, Mike. You know, just trying to spin things here. It was reduced. Lilgun again. They go off in the back foot, but they go into a smoke looking for stragglers from Neon. Neon get a complete retreat onto their high ground, though, so it's gonna be harder to find that opening here, if any. They pop Dragon Form for this. They really want to make it work, but they
Dire's
won't be
bottom
able to.
tower
Good
is
ward
under
from Neon. Spots up for 423's up. Are start to circle back here, though.
Marvel gonna be the one caught. Chuan, he'll move in. The follow-up, the double impale. They've got another Kishka. He's gonna blink. Chases on though, Avatar. Basically has unlimited mana. Bye-bye, Kishka.
Part of the plan.
You see the impact from Jing, John, just life training his Storm Spirit mid-team fight. That's all he needs to do. Avatar just needs some mana.
And this is peak cause for performance right here, Mike. Whether or not you like it, this is exactly what the best kind of pause for is do. Just go find a storm, give that life drain, and peep. You know, you laughed at me when I talked about this possibility before.
I did.
When we watched it in Div 2 with TNT, you laughed at me. Who's laughing now? I'm not. I'm not laughing. I'm sad.
Ironically, I'm the one laughing about it. But you were right, John. I'll give you that. That's one of the rare moments where you actually do your job, which I was proud of you
Dire's
all.
top tower
I was
is
proud of you
under
for, John. Well done.
Oh man, you know, for me it was just a funny thing because it's like, yeah, you give mana, the little green guy's dancing around. He has a nice little dance when he life drains, and now this is Dota. This is Dota now. I don't know. I just feel an existential dread when I realize the Dota of old I used to play is just very different. I mean, it's always different, right? But to be reduced to this, to the nulls,
Don't.
to the life drain.
Why are you gonna do us like that,
I don't
John?
know.
Right in the feels.
I know.
Take us back to Dota All-Stars all over again.
You know what would fix it, Mike?
What's
what
that?
would fix it is 5 movement speed on CM. That's what will fix it. Then CM's viable and we'll stop this nonsense.
Big smoke. Marvel, big jump in, has found Jing. They want the Pugna gone. They should be able to blow him up. Jing is down. Big Sonic wave out 11. He's going to connect on all 4, but they're still not going down. Lilgun, they're the ones on the run. Or are they? Asta, he'll be silenced up. The TA gonna get taken out. Still Avatar mode, trying to fight with the Vortex out. They've got 4-2-3, they've got the Quap. Lose your pos 1? No problem. You've still got Storm.
I'm looking much we are.
And DP for that matter. And Ryu. We'll chase down Kishka.
Oh.
Yeah, bit of an awkward position there for Kishka. Oh, never mind.
Henry's stuck now.
The old Uno reverse card.
That spot in this game, this little awkward spot with the tree is always so weird. It doesn't look like you should be trapped, or it should be even movable into you, but you do end up getting trapped. Kishka bails out, the only survivor of that fight. It's as you mentioned, Mike. They managed to handle the TA, but the output of our DP is just way too high. The damage output on our NP in comparison isn't quite there. Like, he did opt for the Satanic, as you called out, instead of the Scotty first. So that means all the life drains, all the sustain from Enryu is still there. You know, this here is just very hard to burst down. And I think the side of Lilgun needs to find a way to mitigate that. No natural urn carriers means no Spirit Vessel. No Spirit Vessel means that Scotty really needs to come in here.
Oh, Chuan. Little D-Ward, Vendetta, run, dust, out, 4-2-3. Doesn't have the level 20 talent yet, so no leash. In fact, Avatar is going to fly through. Ace 12, he'll be targeted. Meanwhile, Marvel trying to get the Nyx Assassin, but Chuan, he's going to get the life drain. Jing would not allow it. Don't you love Pugna?
Look at that little dancer. Yeah, baby! Woo!
You were so happy when this was a thing. I don't even know why you're acting upset about Dota changing, John. You love this crap.
I do, but it's I don't know. It just feels weird, man. It just feels weird with the nulls and the sucky suck. I don't know, dude. Roshan does fall. Aegis goes the way of Neon. They get the shard up onto Enryu, and they're just ready to keep going.
And there goes Kishka.
Morton days is over.
TA, well, it's been a bad game for the TA. It's still, you know, top of the net worth board. Still a TA that can one-shot you. Only problem is, can Neon deal with the split push? You have 11 pushing bot lane. You've got the Prophet. No shards up, by the way, on 423, surprisingly enough. So he doesn't have the greater treants, but you've still got the split push constantly going here with this Prophet. If you're Neon, you've really got to just dedicate yourself to a big high ground push. Otherwise, the split push continues.
I've been wanting this.
Yeah, it's all just going to happen. They're cutting out the creep wave already up top. Ace 12 just ensuring that the stall out is there. Tier 2 will still be set to fall, but follow up onto the high ground, not quite lined up here for the side of Neon. They still have a siege creep coming though. That could give them that opening. Again, they've got time with the Aegis here.
This is a pop. Marvel gonna go with the dragon form. And Ryu gonna move back in. Marvel is gonna land the stun. Life Train actually going into the siege creep. Marvel in trouble. The Vortex holding him down as he is just gonna drop. Overgrowth is there, but not in time. They at least found Enryu, but they're gonna lose another in the form of the Treant. Still, Enryu is down. Avatar mode may have gone too far to boot, and now Asta, he's surrounded. Aegis or not, they are gonna drop. The buybacks come in from Lilgun do work out. They end up going a little bit too far in the end.
And I like that change in priority here for Lilgun. They stopped focusing in on the TA. They managed to lock in the Storm instead. Just taking out that aspect of the Vortex, taking out that magic damage here, giving themselves that opening to fight back. And because the creep wave was stalled out, they just didn't have a very clear window to siege. So the movement out from Ace 12 was enough to stall that. And you do get a little bit of a second wind out for Lilgun. Build-up still coming through here for 423. Silver Edge is the call. Shadowblade already up, so you can sneak around for that split push. And they could go for the high ground themselves. Again, no shard, so the Treant's not quite there. They've got the creep wave, and they've got the damage themselves.
Oh my god. I mean, you gotta buy back on Neon. Do you bother? Like, you don't have exorcism, so the fight could be a little bit tough. And this is the one thing about Prophet. Like, you lose one team fight, and this is what happens to you. It almost reminds me of Tiny, except not quite as bad. Though I guess it kind of is in some way. It's Lilgun. Jump in, Jing. Looking to get blown up. Chuan will save. Double impel once again, and Enryu right in. Gonna force the BKB out from 11. But they came for the racks, and they're gonna get the racks. Marvel, he might drop for the team. He won't mind though. They got so much out of this. His Avatar is gonna try and punish a bit more. He'll find the Snapfire. Not bad, but you've lost 2 Raxes now as Neon, and against the split push of Lilgun, that could be pretty rough to try and fight against.
The one key you have here, though, Mike, is you've got Storm. So what Avatar mode can do is just zip forward to the creep wave, zip back to Fountain, zip forward, zip back, zip forward, zip back.
He's only got 3 nulls, John. What is this, Hammer Tower? Only 3 nulls. Kai and Sanj, for what? Lincoln Sphere? For what reason, John?
I'm with you there, Mike. This isn't the build Avatar mode. You gotta go back for the nulls. And he's still doing his job. Mid-siege begins with the Ghost and the Minus Armor. Again, 50% damage reduction, Mike.
Yeah, apparently. Looks like it. There goes the mid-racks. Tier 3 tower, top lane. Also going to be taken down. They aren't comfortable fighting without Marvel, it seems. Marvel, he'll be back up in around 13 seconds, but there goes the top tier 3 tower, so both teams looking for 2 Raxes might just get exactly what they're asking for. Hell, if Neon can win a team fight at this base, the game might just be over. Chuan, having a look around, knows that Ace 12 is somewhere around here. They do have a gem on Asta, but they aren't going to be able to find the Treant. He's going to be alright. And suddenly we have an even game on our hands again.
Yeah, just like that, equalizes on the flip of a coin. Neon shouldn't have too much trouble now with super creeps on on the same lanes kind of matching up against each other. So, not under too much map pressure. Lilgun, again, we've seen them do this multiple times. They lose a fight, they smoke up, they force it anyway, and they find that opening. See if they're given that opportunity this time, as Neon is way across the map. They are under vision. So Lilgun are very aware as to where they're standing right now.
Neon, they're going to fight ban smoke up as well. This could be the fight to determine who wins this game. A couple buybacks left on the board, but it could be a very risky team fight for either side. As Neon, they will take the high ground of the triangle. 4-2-3 is showing in the mid lane, but is trying to scout out with the treants, which aren't seeing anything yet. Smoke is still there. Oh, jump in, Marvel. He's been caught out. They're trying to blow up Chuan. He's going to be okay, though, with the Spike Carapace and Marvel. He's the one to go down with that buyback. Big Sonic Wave, but it's not going to be enough yet. The TA, man fighting back with the Satanic. The life drain there. 4-2-3. Who's he aiming for? He's out of BKB. He's going to get taken down. No buyback. Avatar, he's really cleaned up. 3 down with that buyback on Lilgun. The only ones that have buyback are the ones that are still alive here for Lilgun. So Neon, they might be able to put a little in this game. Even a double damage spawning up for Asta now.
Yeah, just finding everything they could possibly ask for. High ground siege with Exo backup. Not going to take too long.
Ghost Scepter won't save you, sir. Chuan will take it with the mana burn, and they are trying to creep skip through the bot lane, but the mid creep wave is going to be enough to try and take the bottom racks. They should have plenty of damage with the double damage available on the TA. Buyback is there. Kishka is around with Marvel. 11. He's TPing back now. 1 racks left, and that's the top range barracks. The Neon will make their way over. Mega creeps should be on the way now. Great comeback from that 2 racks deficit here for Neon. All they've got to do is not throw a team fight.
Yeah, that's all they need to do. We'll see if that discipline kicks in for Neon. Roche respawn in less than a minute, so probably the next big objective for Neon to take. For looking for the high ground, of course, Lilgun won't want to give that objective away for free. Issues abound here for Lilgun, though. The chain sensor coming through onto Marvel. This big tanky frontliner isn't able to get the control off with a Dragon Tail, and it just feels like that's their one stable, stun right now. And outside of that, you've got Overgrowth, but that cooldown's a lot longer, so we'll have to see if they can find the angle. Neon smoked up here as well, though.
Final ditch attempt, but it's a 5-on-5 smoke. Asta on the front lines already sees Ace-12. They want to blow him up. They've got him. There's your Treant gone. 11 in the backside. Another great Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain, but it's not doing enough. Chuan does go down. The Snapfire. Kishka, he's going to go down eventually to Avatar mode. In the meantime, Life Drain is out. 4-2-3. He's trying his best, but he can't get it done. It's too much Hilk flying out. Asta, he'll keep going for the fight now, but they at least take down Enryu. On that Death Prophet is now 4-2-3. A bit of a sitting duck, but where's the detection? There it is, Chuan. He'll get it done. Onto the Dragon Knight. They'll find another. That'll be it, I think, for this game number 2. There's only 11 left. They'll call GG. So Lilgun, they will draw out the series 1-1 against Neon as Chuan. He will take down 11 just before the game ends. What a great series it was, John, between these two. Ends up in a draw.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. Looked like Neon in game 1 were maybe getting a little bit more from their Tiny, but again, they didn't win that offlane hard enough. This time around, Lilgun got off to a really strong start. You didn't see Marvel snowball as fast. Like, that BKB was so stalled out on the DK this game. So his initiation wasn't quite there. He was constantly being jumped by the side of Neon, and Neon just managed to stall out for the TA to get really big. If it might have been a slightly slower lane for the TA, the lane phase wasn't the quickest in comparison to her NP, but he had the jungle to fall back to. The triangle was well protected, switched down to the bot jungle as well. And Lilgun just never got the hunting done on that TA. Like, yeah, they were finding Avatar mode. It goes back to that point about the Storm, though. Are you really keeping a Storm down when he just needs double nulls, triple nulls with power treads and whatever else? Like, you probably wanted Asta way more. Neon was happy enough to give away those core kills because they knew their win condition would eventually outscale. And maybe a couple of choices here from Lilgun didn't line up. The Satanic over the Scotty. I think we saw some instances where the Satanic looked really good. Other instances, especially when Enryu's left alone, where it looked really, really not ideal. Like, the healing was still working magic there from Jing, from Enryu. Very hard to pin down any of the heroes out from Neon because of that sustain. And I think Lilgun, again, not playing at full form, perhaps with Marvel in and Sanctity not quite being there. but they still do a pretty good job of making it a tough series for Neon.
All right, well, with that, John, that is it for the night, sadly, for us, John. So, Lilgun, OB Neon, that'll be the final game here as we are going to head off for the night. As usual, it's always a pleasure being here with all you viewers. Always a pleasure tuning in, I'm sure. And, well, with that, we are going to be back tomorrow for some more great SEA Dota, so do tune in then. But before that, it is MLPDotA. It is John Xfire. Have a lovely night. We'll see you tomorrow.